Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Khadiza from Bashundhara Ad-din Medical College. Today I am going to discuss about special sense. You know we have a special sense, 5 special senses, that are vision, audition, olfaction, equilibrium and gustation. And today I am going to discuss about the hearing. In item number 10 we will discuss about the auditory apparatus, receptors, mechanism of hearing and mechanism of auditory transmission, auditory pathway. And first of all, we have to know the anatomical structure of ear. Firstly, you can see ear has 3 parts: outer, middle and inner. Outer ear consists of pinna or auricle, middle ear that includes malleus incus stapes, 3 small bones, and the inner ear it includes cochlea and semicircular canal. And cochlea contains organ of Corti and semicircular canal contains macula or crista ambularis. Here is another structure of internal ear. You can see in here the tympanic membrane, auditory pathway, the malleus incus stapes bones, and the auricle in a cochlea and also semicircular canal in detail. This figure shows the cross section of the cochlea. You can see the cochlea contains fluid and 3 chambers. These 3 chambers contain fluids. The chambers are sclera vestibuli, sclera media and sclera tympani. And these areas contain fluid. The fluid in vestibuli and tympani are called perilymph, and the fluid in the sclera media is called endolymph. There is another figure. You can see the detailed structure of the cochlea. Here you can see the basilar membrane, and basilar membrane contains hair cells and the tictorial membrane. That tictorial membrane is attached to the apex of the hair cells. So any stimulation of the hair cells that causes movement of the mechanical stimulation of the hair cells and by the tictorial membrane, and this is transmitted through the nerve, that is cochlear nerve, to the auditory area. There is another structure. You can see how the basilar membrane hold the hair cells. Movement of tictorial membrane. The movement of tictorial membrane with sound waves move the cilia on the hair cells and affect neurotransmitter release by the hair cells. You can see detail in this figure. Hearing transduction are multi-process. First of air waves causes mechanical vibration of the fluid and creating fluid waves, and that causes chemical signals, and that causes action potential of the cell. And there is another figure. It shows there is 2 round structure. You can see in the inner ear, that is stapes hold in the oval window, and the round window. Round window, there is a thin membrane on the round window, and whenever the vibration causes movement of this of the bones, stapes moves, so oval on oval window, and that causes movement. There is a vibration wave in the fluid in the perilymph, and that causes basilar movement to move, and so and the extra wave that is also transmitted by the perilymph to the perilymph and causes bulging of the round window. So this figure shows how basilar membrane moves. The basilar membrane is stiff near the oval window and more flexible in distal way. So pitch perception is a function of basilar membrane. So brain can translate the location on the membrane into pitch of the sound. There is another figure. You can see how high frequency causes movement of the basilar membrane, and the medium frequency causes movement of the less movement of the basilar membrane, and the very low frequency causes movement of the basilar membrane in the distal part of. So more frequency causes movement from the earlier part, and low frequency causes movement in the less distal part of the basilar membrane. There is another figure you can see in different frequencies causes movement of the basilar movement in different ways, like A, B, C and D waves. So, how sound is transmitted and transduction occurs. Firstly, you can see this figure detail that sound waves firstly vibrate the tympanic membrane, and the tympanic membrane vibration causes ossicular transmission of and amplification of the vibration, and that causes via the oval endo to the perilymph, then endolymph. Then vibration in perilymph are transferred across the basilar membrane to the cochlear duct, and then vibration of the endolymph stimulate the receptors present in the basilar membrane, that is hair receptors, hair cells, and the hair cells release neurotransmitter which stimulate nearby sensory neurons. Then impulse is transmitted to the auditory cortex of the temporal lobe via cochlear nerve to vestibulocochlear nerve. Now, interpretation of sound waves. Pitch perception. Sound waves are frequently sound waves frequencies are usually expressed in hertz. Hertz, that is the wavelength per second. Human can hear about the frequency of 20 to 20,000 hertz. High pitch frequency, high pitch means high frequency, and low pitch means low frequency, and loudness means amplitude. So, relative to this rate of action potential release, this loudness can be expressed in decibel. So, noisy, in noisy it is about 70 decibel, in rock concert it is 120 decibel. Now, what is tone? Tone is the pure sound of only one frequency, and usually we can see you use tuning fork for hearing test. It is each tuning fork has its own frequency. Now, we are going to discuss about the abnormalities of hearing. Deafness. There are two types of deafness: conducting type of deafness and nerve deafness. Conducting type of deafness are usually abnormality in the pathway of conduction. It may be a defect in the airway, or in the tympanic membrane, or in the ossicles, or in the hair cells, or the basilar membrane. So, any deafness, any problem in this pathway causes conducting type of deafness, and nerve deafness are usually caused by the impairment of cochlea, auditory nerve, or central nervous system circuit. So, conducting deafness are external or occurs in external ear or middle ear. May possible etiologies are cerumen, otitis media, and nerve deafness are usually due to sensorineural deafness, damage to the neural structures, that is hair cells or cortical cells. Are most common gradual loss of receptor cells. And central are due to damage to the neural pathway. Now, another special sense is equilibrium. It is also related to the internal air. You know, internal air content semicircular canal and cochlea. They are attached together. For balancing, there are three structures: utricle and saccus, that otolith organs with macula for with sensory receptors for linear acceleration of the head positions, and semicircular canals and ampulla with crista ampullaris for rotational acceleration, and equilibrium also interprets with input from vision and stress receptors in the muscles. So, for deafness we usually use clean tuning fork for detection of conducting type of deafness or nerve deafness. So, that is all from today. Thank you for watching.